Waged war against AIDS on the streets of Indianapolis today. The annual AIDS Walk coincided with the AIDS Awareness Month. But as News 8's Leah Hope reports, there is more than walking going on in the Circle City to help people with AIDS.
Thanks. Would you like a button? More than 2,000 people with buttons, T-shirts with pictures of loved ones, and armed with signs.
Is one, bring a lot of people together for a common cause, and that's real important.
They came together for a walk. The third annual AIDS Walk.
It means we're getting stronger and better and able to take care of folks as they need it.
In the sun and say, I am home.
Walk around downtown Indianapolis is expected to raise more than $100,000 for the two sponsors, Indiana Cares and ICAN, which stands for Indiana Community AIDS Action Network.
Trying to help people before they get the disease, and then those that are infected by the disease, trying to help them until they get on the federal programs.
The AIDS Walk is raising money to help people with AIDS, but just by the sheer number of people who showed up to walk, it shows that the entire community cares.
It's not just a gay disease. Teens, minorities, and women are the big risk right now, the biggest risk. We'll be seeing those numbers increase in the near future, in the future.
Brought out a crowd of participants for the third annual AIDS Walk. The walk is the biggest fundraiser for two Indiana HIV organizations, and as Marilyn Carter reports, it was highlighted by a national activist with Indiana roots.
There is very little good news this morning. There is no treatment. There is no cure.
Back in 1987, Cleve Jones founded the International Names Project, better known as the AIDS Memorial Quilt. Parts of it were on display today with panels of Hoosiers who have died of AIDS. Jones believes the country still has a long way to go, at least in terms of research, but is gratified by places like the Midwest and events like today's.
I think that there's a great sense of community here, and that people who live in these towns, who have the family history in these communities, they know what to do, and there's it's a great joy to me to see that kind of love and commitment.
As the 5K walk wound its way around the canal, those waiting to step off were happy to be a part of it.
We got an AIDS program started by one of our seniors at our school, and so we all decided we were going to be in the walk, and we raised money for the walk, and we just came down here today as a group.
I've had a few friends die, so I feel that's why I'm here, to support them a little bit and feel like I'm giving a little bit back.
Organizers say they hope to raise $100,000, more than ever from the largest crowd ever. From downtown, Marilyn Carter, 6 News.
Well, besides individual walkers, at least 50 teams participated, and several corporations also provided donations.
Men, women, and children from all walks of life walk to bring about awareness of AIDS and the HIV virus. About 2,000 walkers joined together to let people know that Indiana cares about finding a cure for AIDS. Walkers and volunteers have raised almost $90,000 for sponsoring organizations.
I think it's real important that we're all kind of coming together so that we can talk about an issue that's going to affect everybody. It's not just a gay or lesbian issue anymore.
Also, the International Names Project AIDS Memorial Quilt was on display. The quilt represents those who've lost their lives to AIDS. The Indiana AIDS Walk also featured educational material about the disease.
Will prove those living with AIDS don't walk that path alone. Today, the third annual AIDS Walk raised more than $140,000 for Indiana Cares and the Indiana Community AIDS Action Network.
It's not a racial thing, it's not a gay thing, it's an everybody thing, and everybody should pay more attention to it because it's killing people rapidly every day.
We in this country made a terrible mistake. We dismissed it as a gay American problem, and the consequence of that failure has been that millions of people across the planet, the overwhelming majority of whom are neither gay nor American, have been doomed.
Wake up, because they're not seeing the real picture, they're not living in the real world, and it could affect any one of us at any time.
The Centers for Disease Control say almost 200,000 Americans have died from AIDS. There are more than 315,000 reported cases now in the United States.